Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video, another tutorial for The Sims 4. I was going to do this a bit later, but I want to go ahead and do this tutorial now. This little guide here, since the pack is still fairly new and it becomes, clear and kind of confusing with this one mechanic in the game because it's still new. So that's the reason why I'm making a guide to it, to make it a little less confusing and a little less complicated. So, uh, this gameplay mechanic came from Enchanted by Nature. It's going to be located in your small age panel right below your traits, and that is the imbalance and balance system, or a balance and imbalance, I should say. Uh, Basically, it's this big gauge that will change depending on your Sim's mood and depending on certain events in the game, like Sim's deaths or Sim's marriages or anything like that. So basically, balance and imbalance basically measures your Sim's mental health, as I like to call it. So if they stay in a negative mood, such as sad, angry, embarrassed, especially mortified or enraged, they will become imbalanced at a relatively quick rate, especially enraged or mortified, which are the strongest levels of anger and embarrassment. So if they are in these moods for too long, they're going to start getting very imbalanced. And when they become very imbalanced, they will get an ailment. And if they stay very embarrassed, or if they stay very imbalanced, it's not a good idea because it's not really ideal for your little gauge to get to a very imbalance, which is the little red area. It has, okay, to go over these stages, okay, you have a green section, a yellow section, and a red section. The green means balanced. To stay balanced, your sim needs to stay in a positive mood. Say, if they are very happy, very energized, very flirty, they will be very balanced and they will stay balanced as long as they are in a good mood. But if they get into a negative mood, it will start moving towards imbalanced and very imbalanced. So, if they are just imbalanced, which is not the red state but the yellow state, they will develop minor effects throughout the day. So, as you can see, my sim here, Nigel, he has bad luck because of being imbalanced, and he is tense because of it. So, the balance system is really cool. A lot of people hate it. I don't really mind it as much. General rule of thumb, though, don't ever let your balance and imbalance, don't let your balance get you very imbalanced, okay? That's a general rule of thumb, because if you do, your sim will gain an element. Well, not an element, but an ailment, as in sickness. A mental sickness, basically. And there are only very few ways to cure ailments, and they become very hard to treat, especially if your sim is not very good at the new apothecary skill that came with Enchanted by Nature as well. Um, so that's pretty much the basics. Now, if you want to get into more complex kind of scenarios, uh, there are both good events and negative events that cause balance and imbalance. So if your sim gets married or has a child or anything like that, their balance will go up immediately. They will have great balance immediately. Regardless if they are imbalanced or very imbalanced, they will immediately go to balanced. However, conversely, if they experience a death, or if they see Grim Reaper, or if they, uh, you know, have a divorce or a breakup, or lose a pet, uh, then they will go from balanced to either imbalanced or very imbalanced. So it's not just your mood that makes it to where your balance can go down or up, depending on if it's positive or negative. So again, for example here, because he is very sad, he's currently getting imbalanced, as you can see. Uh, if we let time play here, you're going to see this little white arrow start going to the left because he's very sad. Um, you see, it just moved. It just moved very subtly. Because he's very sad, it's going towards imbalance. If he was energized right now, it would start going back towards balance to the right side. So I hope this wasn't too confusing, and I hope this helped you. Again, general rule of thumb, uh, I don't advise your sim getting too very imbalanced, because if they do, they will immediately get an element, and you'll have to treat it by either, using a cure from the apothecary table, or you're going to have to wait for 3 days for it to pass over. Or alternatively, if you have a fairy friend that has the cure or remove element ability, if you're friends with them, you can also ask them to remove your element if you want. However, there is a chance that it might fail if they are not friends, so uh, just be warned that you might have to be friends with that fairy sim in order to actually agree to remove your elements. Also, another thing too is that fairy's sim, if that fairy doesn't have any emotional force, they cannot help you. So even if you're friends with that sim, that fairy sim, if they don't have any emotional force, they will not be able to help you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that helped you out. If it did, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!